Hey everyone, it's Dr. Hafez from Scholars Dental. I know it was frustrating and stressful what happened on the AFK registration day on October 4. Our students went through it as well and they contacted us. We're together online trying to troubleshoot and help them get a seat. Some did, some didn't, just like everyone else. It's unfortunate. I hope this video could help us all kind of vent it out and find some calmness afterwards, after this whole stressful week from that registration process. The three things I want to address in this video is, first, I want to talk about what happened and how the NDEB respond to this. What was the response? And the second thing I want to talk about is, what problem should we really focus on that we want fixed? And the third thing is some thoughts that could help us bring some positivity and hope and some reality things to look at, and that could, help us move on, pick yourself back up and continue your journey toward your goals. So that's what we want to discuss in this video. Let's get started. All right, everybody, welcome back. So what happened on the registration day? Students were ready, half an hour, 15 minutes, whatever, before the opening of the AFK registration at 9 a.m. And when it opened, everybody was trying to click on the location they would want or prefer. And errors were popping out. So they would either go to like some, they would be logged out, or they would go to a 502 error or 503 error. They would try to go back in because they clicked on it, so they wouldn't know if it's in their cart or not. Because you can't really see your cart, right? It's not something that you could see. It's just, if you click on it, you're assumed that maybe it is in your cart. They tried to contact the NDEB. The NDEB was busy with, probably the phone lines were busy and they couldn't, not everybody could. So that was a frustration. And then, all of a sudden locations started to disappear because they were getting booked. Probably some locations were appearing, they would click on it, then it would disappear. So it was, everybody's saying it's technical issues, right? And afterwards, people got in, seats were booked, no more seats left, others didn't get in. It was frustrating. Even someone that was prepared, on time, waiting, couldn't get in. And it's not, the registration is not closed, it's just there's no seats. So if they do happen to open seats later on, we still, students still have a chance. So here's how the NDEB responded. It had this announcement, the technical issue or issues online plan for equivalency process on October 6th. So what did they say? October 4, and they also had one on their Facebook. So the NDEB experienced significant technical issue with its online platform for graduates of a non-accredited dental. Sure. The issue experienced were system-wide, impacted everyone, including the NDEB. So even affected them. The technical issues resulted in the inability for individuals to log in or complete transaction in the system. The issues persisted for half of the day before the system returned to its regular responses as well. Because, moving toward half of the day, most people just stop trying. So there's less traffic. So probably that's why. It's because there's a lot of people doing the registration and the website couldn't handle that. It is expected that the volume of users attempting to access the portal exceeded the resources dedicated. So, the people trying to use the website were the portal, which is the payment part, the registration, was a lot more than what the website could handle. So they would get these errors. And they're trying to investigate the issue with a full report and going to see what they could do. So they want to, in the future, provide us with a report. We recognize this has affected you. They're saying, look, we recognize it affected our AFK people, our people trying to go through the equivalency process. Our candidates deserve a better registration experience, and we are working diligently to find solutions for the future. So this sounds good, it sounds like they understand, they want to, but they want to try to make it better, to make the registration experience better. So that's what happened. That's how they responded. And also, some people sent an email, and when someone sent an email, I have it in front of me, you won't be able to see it, but I could read it out, some parts of it. So some students sent an email and they got a reply back from the NDEB that was very similar to that announcement, but there was this part in it that was a little bit more unique, which was places for the Feb, I'm going to read it out, I quote, places for the Feb 2022 AFK, February 2022 AFK remain limited as many centers can only operate at 50% capacity. So that is the real problem, right? The real problem is not technical issues, I think. The real problem is that the seat capacity is 50%. I think that's the issue we want, because probably because of, you know, social distancing measures and, you know, the new ways of in the exam centers that you have to be social distance, right? And additional blocks of seats become available for the AFK. If additional blocks of seats become available for the AFK, the NDEB will post a notice on the NDEB website and Facebook pages notifying examinees when registration for the additional seats will open. Okay? And they are saying, leading up to the registration deadline date, examinees do withdraw. Any seats that become available because of withdrawals will be available for new registrants. Please continue to check your profile. Okay? Everything before that was kind of like the same as in the announcement that they have on their website. So from that email, there's 3 kind of points we could just summarize. One is the main problem is that they're running at a 50% capacity. The centers they're doing the exams could only hold 50%. I think they mean due to COVID kind of thing. And the second thing is that if anything opens, if seats open, right? If seats, let me make this a little bit more, you know, they're darker. So if seats open, they will inform us. You'll be informed through the profile. So seats could open. And they were kind of saying that examinees withdrawals happen. So people do withdraw from the exam. So it's kind of giving you some hope that, look, it's not closed yet. You still have until the registration deadline. So those are some thoughts that from the email and stuff, right? Now, here's the thing. What was really stressful? So we're kind of done with the first point. I want to talk about the second point, which is, you know, what should we really focus on here? What was the issue? So let me ask you this. What was really frustrating and stressful about this? If the technical issues did not exist, right? Let's say were fixed. Would the stress go away? That's the question. I don't think so, because if you have limited seats and there's no technical issues, right? It's the same result. It's just it's going to happen faster, right? You're going to go in, it's 9 a.m., you click, oh, you find it's all booked. Okay, so it's maybe going to, you know, save you some time finding out if you got in or not. So the stress and frustrating about are you getting into the exam or not, and the errors, that's less. But isn't the main reason students are stressed out is because, or dentists are stressed out is because they couldn't get into the exam in the first place, and it got booked so fast? So is the technical issues really the thing we want fixed, or is it that we want more seats? And that's what I think is important to kind of focus on, because if everybody starts complaining or saying something that we want the website fixed, we want technical issues fixed, well, the NDEB right here said, hey, you know what? We could do that. You guys deserve that. We are going to work on fixing the technical issues. Well, great. So how does that help you? If they fix the technical issues, you're just going to find out you didn't get a seat faster, right? Like that's not the problem we should be focusing on. And the proof actually of this is there. If you go back in the website and see the news, the ACS registration has opened. And guess what they did with the ACS? And I'm going to make a separate video for that, so they're not too long. But the ACS, to avoid these technical issues, they're going to create their solution was, okay, let me kind of write this out. And this is maybe for AFK students too, because you might not know what's going on in the ACS. The ACS solution they had for these technical issues was they're going to create a survey, okay, a survey that all the students take in their profile. So you just kind of apply. Everybody could take it. It's easy, like a form. I apply for the exam. So they might get 200 or let's say 500 people taking the exam, right? They want to, but that doesn't mean you registered. It's just a survey. Who wants to take the exam? Then the NDEB said it will choose. They have, let's say, for the ACS, they had 75 seats. So they're going to choose 75 from the 500 at random. And those people will get to do the exam. Those people will be given the seats. Well, isn't that still stressful? There's no technical issues, right? So the remaining, I don't know, 425, they're going to be like, hey, we've been waiting for this exam for a long time, right? And we didn't get into it. So I think this is an important thing. I don't think anybody should be talking about fix the websites, fix the technical issues. I think you're wasting your effort and your chance to actually, have something repaired. I think what we should, ask the NDEB if they would, is if they could provide more seats. That would be great, right? If they can't, then they can't. I'm pretty sure they're trying, and they probably are doing the best they can with it. I'm just trying to see things as they are and just analyze what really is the problem. So I think don't waste your effort on, saying this. Yeah, you could fix that, and then when you get in, you just find out that you're not in the exam faster, right? Or so. I'm just trying to make sure students or applicants are focusing on the right problem. So I want to talk about that point, what to focus on, technical issues. Yeah. And I talked about the ACS example on how they solve the technical issues by doing this, which is still not enough seats. So the real problem is not enough seats, right? If there were enough seats and you had technical issues, you would still be okay, right? You wouldn't be frustrated. You could keep pressing it, and then it works, and finally you get in, you would be all right. Okay, that's fine. So if they had enough seats and there weren't technical issues, you would be okay. So what is the solution to this problem? Either increase the exam dates or increase the exam seats or locations. And I don't think the dates is practical for the NDEB because, they do a lot of exams. Like they're not just doing the AFK, they're doing AFK, ACS, ACJ, OSCE, the specialty ones, all these other exams. So they have a cycle that they're moving on, and they have these 2 exams for AFK. So I don't think opening more dates maybe, as practical as just finding more locations to run the exams in, maybe more prometric centers, right? So I think that would be a more practical solution if they are able to. Okay, so that is the concept of the second concept I wanted to talk about regarding what really is the problem. Now, there's some, at the end we want to talk about what the reality is and some things to help you appreciate what is already there, so that you could kind of move on, find some hope and positivity in your own situation. It's been a few days now since that happened. Hopefully, there's a rule that you could use is that if there's something upsets you, allow yourself to get upset as much as you want about it, but give yourself 5 minutes or give yourself 2 hours. Maybe in something like this, you give yourself a few days. Go like, okay, I'm going to get upset as much as I want in these 3 days. Do whatever you need, get upset and be upset. But then after those 3 days, that's it. It's done, accept it, and then continue toward the goal. So I just want to mention some things that are kind of the reality of the situation that maybe could put things to perspective. They may sound, a little bit weird, but so if it helps someone out there, at least it's helping someone, right? Not everybody may find this beneficial. First of all, the NDEB's goal, right? If we go back here, just looking at their goal, okay, is responsible for establishing and maintaining national standard of competence of dentists in Canada. That's their goal. So their priority when they're thinking, right, about where should we put our resources, regardless of that's financial resources or staff and time, where should we put it? It's toward making sure the exams are reliable, credible, like competent, that they prove that the dentist that's taking the exam, if they pass, that means the dentist is competent. That's their goal. So that's where all their effort is. Their goal is not to fit all the people that apply. Okay? I'm just saying this so that we don't want to be too hard on the situation as well. I know it affects everybody from their own perspective, but also that is their goal. Their goal is to make sure the exams are competent, the dentists are competent. Yes, it would be amazing if they could fit everybody. That would be amazing. But that's not their main goal. Hopefully they can. And I think they want to, but it's just they're trying this is what they could do now. So that's the reality. One thing is to know is that what their goal is. Just remember that, so maybe that will help you kind of go, oh, okay, I guess, I know that's their goal. Their goal is not to make my exam happen for sure. The goal is to make sure it's competent. So if they couldn't have enough seats, then, you know, it's just there's more applicants than usual. And we hope that they try to do their best to fix the issue with more seats. The other thing is, you know, everyone else is also delayed. And I know this probably doesn't make things better, but, you know, there's people in ACS that were delayed, that are still in ACS since 2020. People I know personally, right? Since 2020, still delayed because there's no ACS exam happening. Okay, so what do you think about those people, right? Everybody's frustrated. So it's not like, you know, a unique situation for a group of the AFK people. It's everybody, really. The pandemic has, you know, delayed everybody in this process. Okay, so even if you passed the AFK last cycle, you're probably delayed somewhere else in ACS. The whole process slowed down, right? And it's just part of going through it now. It's kind of like an expected thing to go through this, thinking that, okay, because of the pandemic, things are slowed down for everybody, whatever stage they are in the process, maybe except for ACJ, but, you know, still ACS and AFK are slowed down, right? That's another thing. Yep, and that the whole issue is because of the 50% capacity and the pandemic and less seats. So that, you know, it's not something that was in your control. Not maybe the NDEB did everything they can as well. So you can't be upset, but then try to accept it so that you could move on. And some things also, now, even if this may sound kind of, preachy, I'm just trying to help out to see if anyone would benefit from this. But really, there are things to appreciate, right? I know we all think that what's happening right now is like the worst, right? This is the worst AFK cycle because of this. It could be a lot worse, and it was worse, right? So it's not, this is the worst thing. So things to appreciate. Hopefully this will help you find hope and think positively about the process again and help you move on into it. So for example, at least there is a direct path. There is a direct pathway, and that doesn't require you to go to university and spend, $300,000. At least there is a direct pathway. It's just, yes, there's competition. There's not enough seats, but there is a pathway. That's just something that's good. Another thing to appreciate is that, the exam, all the exams, but the AFK at least, is twice a year. This is something you might not feel if you look at it only from your point of view, things seem very dark, but again, man, this sucks, it's the only time. But if you look at it from over the whole 10 years, you guys right now are not in a terrible situation, right? Before, the exam was only once a year. Remember that? Whoever remembers that, when I did the exam, it was once a year. So if I missed it for any reason, I have to wait a full year, right? Just to be able to register again. So it's good that it's twice a year, right? That's something we could appreciate and be grateful for. Another thing is, if you're trying to register for the AFK, that means at least you're NDEB approved, right? Like, remember how stressful that process was? Getting your documents, sending it, not for everybody, waiting that months for you to get approved, and finally it gets approved and you're like, yes, right? So at least that is done, right? You're somewhere in the process. Things are getting done. It takes time though, and this is just one obstacle in the way that happened. And if you got to Canada, that's another step. You got to Canada, that's great. It's a huge step as well, right? So remember all these things that you have done so far. And if, you might not be in Canada, but if you are, then that's something to also be grateful for, right? Another thing, you could appreciate that at least there's help, right? There's institutes, there's courses, there's a community that's there to help you prepare for this exam, right? I think that's something we should be also grateful for and appreciate. Another thing is the ACS exam, at least at your time, if you're doing the AFK now or planning, at your time, the ACS is going to be all year round exam. Like, how awesome is that? Right? Isn't that awesome? At my time, it was once a year. Once you fail, you wait a year. Now you guys are going to get to do it probably, I don't know, every month maybe, or every few weeks you could book it. I mean, isn't that something we could be looking at the end and be like, oh, you know what, NDB, good. That's that's going to make things better for us. So maybe you're slowing down here, but maybe you'll speed up there and it makes up for it, right? So I really want you guys to look at these things and not just look at one thing that happened. I know that's the thing that's affecting you right now, but I think that if you all did something that is risky and brave by trying to go through this process. If you left your home country where you were already working, you come here, you're trying to go through this process, that was something brave, and you push yourself out of your comfort zone and you took a risk. And when you finish it, you're going to be you're going to get to that goal. It's going to feel great. And the thing is, when you take those kind of risks and you go forward and you have to, there's a rule I read once, is that, be ready to be disappointed. Not everything is going to go according to your plan as you're going toward a goal. Like, the journey is going to be bumpy. There's going to be obstacles. Things are not going to work out exactly the way you want them to. So I think whenever you decide to go into one of these, or take a risk and try to do something, is that just be ready that there's going to be disappointment. It's not going to go the way you think, right? And whenever a disappointment faces, you could be like, okay, this is a moment I'm going to be disappointed. I'll be mad for 3-4 days. Now, what do I do? That's how you have to think right now. So if you had that mindset, hopefully you could see things differently. You could accept what happened. Again, there's still hope that seats will open from now until the registration date. So keep checking your profiles, keep checking your accounts to see if anything opens. I heard something open in Australia just, I think, yesterday on October, today is October 9. So, yeah. So I hope this helped, and I want you all to be able to move on, accept it. And you know what? Sometimes something we also mentioned this is something we talked about this in our WhatsApp group at Scholars Dental AFK course. We all discussed and brought these positive thoughts into the WhatsApp group, which is, a good environment. We have a positive environment here, and it helped a lot of students look at it and go, oh, you know what, this is what happened. It is what it is. Let's move on. Let's not stop. Let's not waste our energy and time on being frustrated and upset, right? And try to move on. So yeah, I think that for some people, this could be a blessing in disguise. Some of you don't know how much time you need for preparation. You may think it's enough to do it in 5 months. For some, it may be, but for others, it may not be. You may actually need more time. So if you're taking a course right now, you should continue as if you're taking the exam. Put still your effort into it, because you might actually end up needing that time. It might be better than studying, than taking the exam, than failing, because you might get depressed from that, right? So if you are studying now, continue what you're doing. Don't stop. I think the main thing is, as long as you're not wasting time, right? You might think you're wasting time because you didn't get into the exam, but you'll be wasting time if you do nothing, right? I think if you continue studying your AFK, let's say you studied it and you didn't get in the exam, and you're like, well, I'm bored with AFK. Well, study ACJ. Be ready, right? I think you wouldn't waste time if you continue preparing. And that way, when you do get the opportunity, when it does come and knock on your door, and when you do get into the exam, I think you should be ready. That's how you should prepare for this. Keep studying, keep preparing for the AFK. If you feel like you're done with it, prepare for ACJ. And then when you get into that, you're just increasing your chances to pass from your first attempt even more and more. So when that opportunity comes, you are ready for the exams. And again, it could be, as I said, a good thing for some. Even this whole delay could be a good thing for some people that thought they could do it in 5 months, but actually maybe need more. And you won't know that until you do your first exam. So I hope that helped. I know some parts of it were maybe controversial. Maybe some of it was, some people may find it unfair or harsh. I'm not sure if unfair is the right way to state what happened. It's kind of just random, first come, first serve approach. And, they gave everybody the time, so that's fair. They gave everybody the date. Everybody had kind of, ability to access, and then it was random of who got the connection into their portal. And, that's just the way it is. So again, I hope things, you could use this to pick yourself up and continue with the AFK preparation and your process, if that's what you want, of course. And you know what? We are here, open, Scholars Dental, for consults. If you feel like you want to talk and discuss your plan, how it changed, maybe this process, this registration process, change your plan, right? And you want to, some students are, and some people contact me thinking, you know what, I might not just do this whole thing. I want to go to the ADAT and do the American. Maybe I could use that. Or I could go do the IMBDE. What do you think? If you have ideas and you want to talk about it and you're trying to change the whole plan, you could contact us, book a consult. We'll have a discussion over Zoom one-on-one and see what your situation is right now and what you could do so you don't waste time and be productive and still prepare and probably do all those exams together. Like, just how would you approach that? And I could help you figure out a strategy. So let us help you. It's a free consult. If you like to book, go ahead. Email us, info@scholars. All the info is in the description box below. I don't want to make this video longer. Good luck to everybody. And again, sorry for everybody that couldn't make it to the exam. We feel for you. But, you know, try to find positivity. Try to find some goodness in it. And if you need help, let us know and we could discuss it one-on-one. All right. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.